This is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I'm delighted to welcome Jason Christy of Words That Burn. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Welcome to the show. It's been quite a while to get you on there. Just the way things go. You've been on Carl. Shout out to Carl as well. Carl's won a few times, so it's just always a case of right. I'll just wait for my chance to pounce. And it was perfect timing, really, with you coming back from Bloodstock as well.
Perfect. Yeah. I was looking at you before. I was like, we finally have some time just after Bloodstock. No better time to get in than.
Yeah, exactly, man. And you've got Den of Lions out as well, man. Congratulations on that. So.
Thank you. Yeah. We put it out on YouTube, and I'm not sure when this is coming out, but it's going on to all the streaming platforms on the 24th of August.
Okay.
So they'll be on, iTunes, Spotify, all the likes of it,
Nice. And I think the show would be out actually probably the week after that. I think it is.
Cool.
But what was it like playing it over in Bloodstock?
It's crazy. Like coming from here with everything so strict and, unsure of the last 2 years. And me and the lads, we got in the car, we went to the hotel, left off our stuff, got to the gates, got our bands and walked in, and Skindred was playing straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And,
is that the lads with the fucking t-shirts, is it, or something?
Yeah. Was something helicopter.
Yeah.
So we get there and we meet Oren, and he brings us through, and next thing you just see, 20,000 plus
Jesus.
People. It was just a different world being over there. But as soon as the music kicked in and you see all the smiley faces, it just made it feel like, everybody was back.
Was there a little tear gathered in the corner of the eye?
Oh, there was a couple of tears shed over the weekend, I have to say. Yeah, a few moments that really hit hard. Like you'd be standing on a bandit kick in and you'd be like, holy shit, I've forgotten how much you enjoyed just getting away and seeing all the people and, those families, those, friends, everything, seeing them all together.
Yeah, talk about the prep coming into Bloodstock for you, actually, as a band. How many rehearsals did you get in? And
yeah, we got about we were going for about 2 months. So as soon as we could kind of get in a room, we were back in a room together, because essentially, like, we had new songs in the making. Like Den of Lions came out, and we were like, we'd like to hit Bloodstock and play Den of Lions. So we were nervous about never playing a new song live for the first time at a big show. So we really hunkered in, and we were doing maybe 2 at least practices a week for probably 2 months.
Great.
And then we were like, screw it. We feel like fitting another one of our new songs into the set. It just fits the songs we had, and nobody's even heard about it before besides the people who went to that show. And we're just like, it really fitted. So we're like, screw it. We'll learn it. We'll get it in there. And so we ended up going there with, I think it was about a 7-song set, and 2 of them were brand new. Den Lions was one of them, and then one was just an exclusive for Bloodstock. So we practiced hard, We even had, Oren came down with us one of the days sitting through our sets, because we had nobody even in a room with us for, the last 2 years, let alone us being in the room 2 months. And so we had him down, having eyes on us, seeing how the set was going. And yeah, we were ready, but you're never sure how ready you are until you set foot on stage,
Yeah, of course. And was it a 35-minute set, or what had you?
Yeah, 30-minute dead, yeah. But it was like, we got there, and it was nerve-wracking building up to it, because, we're later on in the weekend. We were at like a 12 o'clock in the morning show. But we got there, and the crowds were great for the early morning bands. That kind of calmed their nerve. We had a lot of time backstage in our own area to kind of be ready, get up on stage. We had, more than enough help getting us up and down. So none of that stress of kind of getting up on stage and getting ready was there. We were very relaxed. So by the time we got on stage, it was almost surreal. Like the 30 minutes went by in like 5 minutes. It was a flash,
Yeah.
You said about, almost shedding a tear when it was surreal. Like it got to the last song, and I heard the intro track of the last song kicking in, and I was nearly like, oh man, it all hit me in there. And once it's like, we got through our set, we got on stage, 2 years of not playing, almost, 2 years, all down to that little moment, and it goes by in a flash. But, it felt amazing when you just get to there,
And what about the song selection for the set? Was it difficult to, I know you put in, as you said, 2 new songs, but like, how difficult was it to put those other 5 songs, or was there 2 or 3 that are obviously no-brainers?
Yeah, there was a few. We finished up on Riptide, because that would be our most known.
Yeah.
Like just before Bloodstock on Spotify, it was hitting about 80,000 listens, I think. So
Okay.
That's a song people know.
Yeah.
It's the one that sounds the best. So we're like, that's a good ender. If anybody's there that's going to know us, it's a good one to go out on. So we finished off on that. We basically were like, what's our most heavy hitting songs? Because we're not probably the heaviest band, and that could have been a very heavy crowd. We have the more melodic bits, rocky bits. So we're pretty conscious of like bringing a heavy set, but keeping it us as well. So we're in When We're Forgotten. I think that came out around 2018 or so. It's a fast song. There's a lot of heavy bits, like, good for bringing in the crowd. And what did we go into? Death Grip, which is another single.
Yeah.
It's one of our heavier ones.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at our heavier set, but we wanted to keep it very like us. And it was straight in, like we had probably 10 seconds between songs. We wanted to give as many songs as we could. Of
course,
fit those 2 new songs in, and then finish on one that people probably knew, and a lot of people did know. So it was cool to see some, recognize a lot of faces.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, even from your perch, was there a few familiar faces in the crowd that you were?
Yeah, like the Irish support all weekend was great. So you've seen all the Irish heads come in, like they're in straight away. The other Irish bands were in. But there's a few, like we could see some old band T-shirts that we haven't had on the go in a long time.
Wow.
Some families coming in, younger people wearing our T-shirts and stuff like that. So, and then, over the weekend, you make a lot of friends and stuff too. So, when you're going around promo and you're like, Oren had printed us off stickers. There must have been Mooresburn stickers everywhere across the weekend.
All these things help, man,
Yeah, like that was my plan, or like our plan for the weekend was just like get some people down to our show and kind of show them what we have. And the amount of people showing up with the stickers that we'd put around the weekend, and so many lovely people we made friends with, either at their hotel or standing, by a bar or something. Yeah. And people come down and check us out, and we got like amazing support. And you could see that like with a lot of the Irish bands, because there was a good few of us over this weekend, and every show there was those same kind of group of heads in supporting everybody.
What kind of merch did you bring over?
We brought over merch in intent to put it on the stands and sell it, but it got to the weekend and I was just like, screw this. I don't feel like hogging out merch and selling it. I was just like, I just want to give it to people. So like anybody that was coming up to us and being nice or came down and supported our show, we were giving out the odd little thing. The stage crew that was with us, I brought down merch for them because they're hardworking and they love, it's nice just to get a hat or something at the end of the day. They did helped us, sound great and get on that stage. So I wanted to kind of keep the merch for that,
Okay.
We threw out a load of it at the end of our set. There was a few people asking us through the weekend where to get it, and I was just like, come down to our set and I'll give you it myself. So nice. I'd rather have that the weekend. So yeah, ended up with a lot of people wearing Words of Burn stuff by the end of it,
Well, it all counts, man. Spread the word. What about bands you saw yourselves over there? Any ones that left a lasting impression?
Yeah, geez, it was jam-packed. I didn't get time to see a lot of full sets, but I got to stand in for a lot of ones. Like one that really stood out to me at the end, a band I never seen, was Green Lung. They were amazing.
Everybody's talking about them, man. That is damn interesting now you brought that up. And
it wouldn't even be the particular band like I would if I heard I'd go see, but I ended up catching most of their set and I was blown away. Evil Scarecrow ended off the night. That's just an experience and a half. But like Devon, obviously we're going to say the big ones like Devon, Judas Priest, Saxon, like they're all phenomenal. Devon with his band that he'd never played with before, or just one night with. And so that was
really? I didn't know that. Yeah,
so he only came over himself and he got an all English crew to play his show and do his, working behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
They were playing, I think it was by request, so it was like Scrappy Young Lad stuff.
Okay. Oh my God.
Everything.
Yeah, cool.
It was a real cool one. So getting to see that was a big one for me. I'm a big fan of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I got to see a few Irish bands, like Baylor really killed it. Their set was one of my favorites. Like Green Stag, they were playing the same stage as us and they had the place jammed,
Had they really? Green Stag, yeah?
Yeah, every band I seen had a great crowd. It's like, but the Irish lads really pulled it in. And they're playing solid sets too. Who else stood out to me?
Man, I mean, it must have been just a complete head fuck for you. Like, I mean, like you go from like all of us, like for 2.5 years where you see nothing, You know, you watch your streams on your laptop or television, and it's never the same, obviously. But then you're just thrown into the situation as a musician, first of all, and then as a fan, and like your brain must have been scrambling. Like, what?
It was crazy. Yeah, like we had a few interviews over the weekend, and
of course you had the media as well. Yeah, true.
They'd be asking you like, "What's your favorite band?" And you're trying to think. It's just like getting to be here is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like every band or every band I seen play, you could just see they were so thriving to want to get back out there. And then it went all the way same to the fans and the people working there. Like everybody just wanted to be there so much. So like just standing about the crowd was even as fun as, you know, as
true.
it could be.
Yeah, and the weather held out, did it?
Yeah, geez, it was great. We got there and it was like 24 degrees, 25 degrees. So
great,
we were pretty happy. It was a little bit of rain here and there on the Sunday, but not major. And yeah, we were expecting kind of bad weather, but we were in a tent too, so you're kind of wavering. It's like, if it rains, do we get people in the tent? If it's too good of weather, people are going to be outside. You're just like thinking of all the things that could happen. But no, the weather was lovely the whole weekend, which was perfect because no muddy feet and keeps enthusiasm up, you know.
Of course it does, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last time I was there was, it was around 2000 and maybe 16, I think. 2016, 2017, and it rained for the majority of that, man. It was fucking miserable.
It's tough,
so that was our 5th year there, and then we decided we'd head to Brutal Assault in Czech Republic, man, and it just was extreme. It was like 28, 29 degrees every day, and it was fantastic, you know. But
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, my tickets are still caught up in the whole renewal of Brutal Assault, so it should be, please God, in 2022 at this stage. So like they had to cancel it, obviously. Yeah, they had to cancel it for 2 years, and hence I was just thinking, like, anybody that stayed back here, Jace, like every one of us went through just such a fucking fit of depression. Now, it was great watching all of you and posting and stuff, but man, it was just really overwhelming, the fucking sense of loss here in Ireland, as you know yourself, and it doesn't
you can sense that over there. You can sense that over there, like the amount of Irish people obviously that go over, anyone's you'd bump into, or especially the media kind of talking about what it was like for us back home, because the Irish bands or the Irish scene got it very hard compared to a lot. Not that it wasn't very strict everywhere, but everybody was looking back. It's just like you could wish you could take everybody over for the weekend, because we know it's still far off in our heads here at home. Like it's just getting pushed back further and further and more uncertain. So like it was amazing to get over there, but even the sense of coming back and not having something like that to keep rebounding on was heartbreaking as well. Like
that's another issue for you and many more, is the fact that you can see how good it was. It was almost intoxicating, I would say, and then to come back and go, fuck's sake, like where is the light at the end of the tunnel here? And there's just more bad news coming through. Doesn't look like there's going to be live gigs at all indoor until next year. Now, I don't know how true that is or not. I only saw that today, but fuck that. Like, I mean, something has to be done, you know, with respect to COVID and, you know, mask wearing and all that. But I mean, Jesus Christ.
But like, you know, like we went over that and there was 25,000 people, and we had our tests on the way back, and you know, you have your tests on the way there, and we're jabbed and stuff. And like, we came back negative, and we were in a bloody field with 20,000 people. Yeah. Like, I know some people obviously get it and come back, and that's how it is, but it can happen with organization. And you see it, like, it's not even just, you know, the bands anymore. It's the people who work in that life, you know, the crews and everything. Like,
exactly.
We had there could have been 20 people then working at that stage where you're at, and each one of them, you could tell how happy they were to be back working. And you sometimes forget about how many is in the background of the whole thing.
It's a massive organization. You're right, yeah, absolutely.
So there's so many people on hold when they really deserve to just have something that they can hold on to. You know?
Yeah, and as I said, just in Ireland, it's just a bit too much of scaremongering now at this stage, and something really has to be done pretty fucking soon, because otherwise we won't even have a scene with UK bands now. I'm sure, like, no more than you, as you know, you named out Green Lung, you've got Kingwitch, you've got Dog Turd, you've got Razor Sharp, Death Blizzard, all these bands we all know personally from touring Ireland. They all want to get over and fucking tour around, you know, Galway, Dublin, Cork, Limerick. they just can't fucking get there, and it's vice versa with the swap tours as well. And I thought at this stage just to kind of go, okay, so maybe November, but Jesus Christ, it's a bit scary now at this stage that there's nothing there for that.
It's very disheartening. Yeah, like you'd like to know that there's something in the pipeline that we can all work towards, because that endless kind of working towards something to get pushed back is it's impossible. That's why you see so many bands and stuff dropping off, and it's so understandable that bands are having such a hard time. It's because like they don't know where they're at, and they won't know until something definite's there.
Yeah, but I mean, like again, like there was a lot of bands that went over there yourselves. Grey Stag released a single, Baylor released a single, The Crawling had one out earlier, so we'll give a listen to Den of Lions here. I'll give a listen to the clip of it, and we'll just talk through it afterwards.
I see you shine right in front of me. First you just get like a little thing. If honesty's your mantra, I don't believe you see the thing about lies. They go in it outside. When your secrets all go weaponized, and everyone by your side will fucking spit out and die. Fresh me to the deadlines. And I will fucking agree. So just give it to me. This is the hope you're feeling now. It's just a hope you're feeling. All your dreams with now. It's time to turn this around. Yeah, turn this around. Yeah, you try to buy our silence with empty pockets. How can you rule us from inside a fucking coven? A fool will be hypnotized by his own flame, catching fire, consuming air. He needs to survive for a moment.
Man, that's some fucking song, dude. Seriously, it's fucking class.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps just hearing that end bit.
Yeah, we reviewed it last night in the forums. I suppose you don't know that, but Danielle, Evan and Joe, and we had Steve on as well from Grey Stag, and everybody gave it a massive thumbs up.
Deadly.
Yeah, tell us the background behind the song itself, and thought process with maybe lyrics and anything else you can add to it.
So yeah, clearly we don't have Ronnie because he knows all about the lyrics and the meaning and stuff. But all the songs kind of came from the same place. Like we same thing as ever. Like Shane kind of comes up with his idea in his home studio, and obviously we're going through lockdown, so we were trying to keep busy. We always try to keep writing as well, and Shane had been starting to really get into a couple of songs, and obviously we couldn't all meet up even if we were close by each other. So we all just kind of started hunkering down in making our own home studios, kind of good to go to send him ideas. And we spent about a year, maybe more, back and forth on all these songs. Like we've about 10 of them.
Okay.
And they all kind of came through together. Like there was ones that were written just after our last album. There was ones that were coming out very fresh. And when it got to about a year on, we kind of, we'd probably too many songs. So we started cutting down the ones that weren't just as strong. And then we got to the point, it's just like, we have good songs. What do we want to do? So we started thinking about production, where do we want to go? Mm-hmm. We talked to a lot of interesting producers that were working with bands we liked, and we ended up with Josh Schroeder, really, really cool guy. Like out of all the interviews, he was one of the guys that really felt like, one of us, and he got the sound we were going for and the ideas. And, he, because of lockdown, like we had so much time, so we had time to like try out different sounds. He was a really great eye for that, like pushing if we had influences or sounds that we weren't maybe trying out as hard, bringing us into those mindsets. And
were you a fan of his work as well with King 8-1?
Yeah, so big time with King 8-10. There was a load of bands. When we were looking around producers, I tried to not like look at any of their music, and So when we had the interview with Josh, I was like, okay, what does he actually do? Because I knew he worked with a Virtue, a band that came to Ireland years ago, and we had a few shows with them.
Okay, all right.
And they had recommended him in the past. So we're like, we had his name written down, and did the interview, and it went so well. Like he just clicked with us very well. And afterwards, I looked it up, and I was just like looking through his back catalog, and I was like, that's my playlist on Spotify. It's nearly all. Yeah, it's like most of the bands he'd worked with, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be cool,
Yeah.
So we worked back and forth with him for a good while, and when it came to picking like the song "Den of Lions," it's just like we couldn't pick. We have 10 songs there that we'd put out as singles, and we were just like, "Den of Lions" is the most straight in there. This is what we're doing. A bit of a taste test for what it is,
Mm.
It has elements of our old stuff, but it has a little bit of a flavor of what's going to come, and we actually couldn't pick which song, we still can't pick which the next song is, every day we're chatting, it's like, what could the next one be? And it's, 4 different answers, because we're excited about every one of them, which is kind of rare when we're coming up to, 10 bulk of songs, because usually you have your few that you're like,
yes, of course.
But,
yeah.
But, we walked away from this with 10 songs that were like, geez, can we do 10 singles,
And I mean, it sounds so fresh, yet there is words of Bourne in it. His personality is there, but there's some new elements as well coming in, which are a bit fascinating. And fucking Ronnie knocks it out of the park vocally wise.
As always, yeah. I definitely can hear the progressions in his voice in the albums. Like it's getting very mature. I think even with this one, it's just like with our last album, it could have been a bit more in the metalcore genre, and this time we were kind of conscious about being maybe genre specific. We're just like, we'd like it to sound, like a metal band, like a rock and roll band, but it doesn't have to sit in any of these really genres anymore. So, because some of the songs will be some of the songs will have a bit more, electronic feel, or maybe a poppy structure, but then some of them are going to be heavy as it gets, for us.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to push the boundaries across the board, really.
Yeah, I mean, when you do that, it's interesting in so far as the way the world is going now with Spotify, that it is an album per se with 10 songs. But I mean, the way people just pull apart albums and put them onto playlists now, it is important to have a good bit of variety in that 10 songs as well,
Definitely so, yeah. And we're getting, I think, past that era of bands, sounding like each other. Like everybody, I think, especially with the time away from being, on the gigging circuits or certain things, just like everybody's starting to think, like, how should I sound like coming through this? Because you go on to Spotify and you could have 1,000 songs on a playlist that are sonically the same, or the vocals are tuned to the last, and we're very conscious about that. It's like, we wanted the vocals and stuff to be very natural, like they're not crazy auto-tuned or anything like that. We wanted the guitar tone was the guitar tone our guitar player came up with in his studio, and we just wanted to be as natural as possible, because how things are nowadays, you want that little unique element and then start touching the bases that bring in those people that you're interested in, maybe listening to your music. So, and
as a drummer, Jace, how did Josh help you?
He's a drummer himself. So
is he really? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. That always is a start.
Yeah, it was interesting, because obviously we had to figure out how to do it in not a great studio. So we went through a mixture of doing things like me recording live takes here with my microphones, like the joys of having computers and technology. You can write parts with your computer, We did everything we could to make the best parts for those songs. And then Josh, like I thought the way he was on about, like he's a drummer himself. He's like, I'm going to be so critical, and I'm going to go through everything with a fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
And but when he came back to us, he was just like, no, I love what you did, and I love these parts, and I wanted, this section, how exactly you did it. And that also, was great, because working with him, I was just like, if I'm going to get pushed, or if I'm going to get criticized or learn something, he's going to be a guy that could definitely do that for me. Because with these albums, we want to put out good music, but we want to learn how we can get better. You know, what's parts I couldn't think about writing, especially from an outsider's point of view, how could I make that song better? And coming from a drummer, I definitely was going to respect whatever he was going to say.
Absolutely.
But when it came to the drums and stuff, he was very just loved what we did and tried to enhance what we had. So he talked a lot more about, the sound and the feel than really what notes and stuff we were going for. And that was always the way. It's like, whatever felt natural was usually the best thing at the end of the day.
Like, were there some specific songs now that couldn't be worked out without rehearsal?
We didn't get to rehearse any of them.
Yeah, this is what I'm fascinated with. Like, it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, so we like that's the thing, like putting out Den Lions, and we were putting it out, but we'd never played it together, you know. And then we were like, we're going to play this for the first time at Bloodstock, and we were like, is it madness or is it a great idea? It's like if we pull it off, it's a great idea, but if you don't, you should have probably spent more time with it in the practice room. So like, we have 10, you know, we can play 2 of the songs, and there's 8 more for us to learn still. So that's what we get to do now. We get to sit down and learn them, and there is things you change when it comes back to playing it live, like especially in a drum sense. There might be something that's kind of better for the album sort of sounding thing, or there's like something a bit more comfortable for live, and singing or and so like when it comes to playing it live, we're still going to do our live take on it. You know, everybody does that with all their live songs, but yeah, we still haven't played even some of them together. We've barely been in a room listening to them together yet, you know.
And did you get any new kit over lockdown?
Yes, I bought a new snare drum.
Okay.
I don't have it here with me, but I got a lovely. Because I've been playing a Joey Jordison signature for most of my gig in life. Because amazing snare drum for metal, and I just love the tone of it. And then over lockdown, I started, because we're not gigging, we weren't practicing. I started doing a load of covers and playing like music I wasn't into. So I was just like, I have a Joey Jordison snare and it's quite metal, and I have a tune to sound very metal. It's like I'd like something a bit more classic and rock and roll. I love playing rock and roll stuff. So I got a lovely DW, it's like a maple custom snare, big green sparkly thing, so it looks class on stage. So it was a lovely expensive thing, but it's amazing. I played actually for the first time at Bloodstock there.
You actually brought it with you, cool.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to bring the Joey because, like, you know, obviously he passed away. It's like,
I know,
nice,
man.
It's a nice homage to maybe bring that along. And then, but I've been practicing on that snare my new one the whole way through the lockdown. It's like my hands are used to it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I didn't want to risk it, and you know, it was already a risky night going on stage, so it's like whatever I'm most comfortable with. And I brought that one on, and just a little recordings and stuff I had back. I'm so happy I did, because it sounds, you know, bloody beautiful.
Right.
But that was kind of the main thing for me over lockdown. Probably bought more guitars than I did drum stuff. So
did you really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's always the way.
Yeah. And where were you buying them? Tobin and a few of those places, or?
Oh, anywhere. I love finding, you know, old unloved guitars and taking them in. You know, you see them sitting in some person's, you know, old back room, and you're like, oh, I could give that some love, and you take it and it sits in your room and you don't play it too, you know. No, and you know, like actually over lockdown, me and my girlfriend, we went in to get lunch in a shop, and there used to be a music shop where it was.
Where are you living, Jason? Are you living in?
I'm in Monaghan, Carrickmacross in Monaghan.
Okay, so I didn't know that. Okay.
Like South Monaghan. Yeah, everybody thinks we're all Dundalk, because the lads are from Dundalk. So I
know, and fuck it, of course, in the forums then last night I said, Dublin's word that burn, and I just went, fuck it, Dundalk.
Yeah, anytime we're abroad, it's Dublin, you know, it's easier. Yeah. Nobody knows Carrickmacross, you know.
But anyway, sorry, you're up in in a cafe, is it?
Yeah, so we were over in actually in Blackrock, and there was a music store. I bought my first drum kit, and I was like, I hope it's still there. So we went in and seen it was a cafe. So me and the girlfriend go in to get lunch, and we see the music store still at the back. And I walk in, and there's this bloody lovely Ibanez guitar sitting in the back of the shop. And you know, I've been thinking about it's locked down. I'm not going to be playing drums as much. Maybe I'll get a guitar, spend a bit more time, and yeah, then you know, bought lunch and bought a guitar. That's what you do in the middle of lockdown. Keep yourself sane.
Oh, that's classic, man. So now that we brought up Dundalk, listen, for anybody that doesn't know about the history of Words That Burn, Jason will give us a brief story of how he got together, man, and then we can tick that box.
Yeah, so the band's going about 10 years now, I believe. Jer and Ronan, the singer and bass player, they had a few bands previous to this, and they came on to Words That Burn. So they were originally a 3-piece. A guy called Porrick Duffy, amazing drummer, he was playing with them at the time.
Okay.
And a few years on, I think it was maybe 2-3 years after Words That Burn came to life, Shane joined just when they were putting out that first EP, Pray.
Okay.
And then I think it was a year or two after. I'm in the band about 7 years, so. Right. Their previous drummer left, and I auditioned. I was in like an indie rock and roll sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
And I had opened for Words That Burn a few nights in my hometown, and they started playing some cool music, and I always wanted to be in a metal band, so I was watching their shows. It came up that they need a drummer, so I auditioned for it. I was, 18 at the time. They're all quite a bit older than me, so it was nerve-wracking going in. But we gelled, and so we're going together about 6-7 years, I think. Now we're all together. We put out a single early on, then we put out "Regret Is for the Dead" by 2016.
Just talk to me about that, actually, because you worked with Jonathan Mazzio.
Yeah. So
how did he come into the sphere?
So when we started get going after our first single, we got in contact with a label, Wormhole Death, at the time.
Wormhole Death, yes, of course. That's Carlo.
Yeah. So we worked with them at the time, and they had Johnny on board as a team. So we got an offer to fly out, work with Johnny, and it was a great experience. Like, Johnny's an amazing producer. Obviously, he's a beautiful studio in Italy, so it was quite a nice deal to get to go over and try our lads in Italy, But, we were just trying to get going. We were trying to be more professional, and we were exploring those routes. Just like, do we need a producer? What sort of team do we need? And when we got working with Johnny, it was a great mind opener. Like, he showed us how to work in a studio, how to achieve like a modern production in a track. And so we got a lot of learning from that.
And were you self-managing yourselves at that stage?
We kind of always were, we were always trying to do as much as we could for ourselves. And then, Wormhole Death had some nice people working with them, like our friend Ale, who helped us get gigs at the likes of Exit Festival.
Cool.
So like our friend Ale, he was a great guy. He helped us out with a lot of shows, introducing us to people in bands, and then we came home with the album, did great. Like we got a number one with the album, I believe, or we got it up in the charts. And then when it came to the second album, we decided to go it completely on our own, because we were just like, we were doing great. It's that time and age. It's like you can do a lot yourself, so we wanted to see how much we could do under our own, and we started recording on the second album. I believe we started chatting with Orrin at the time. He's always been great help to us over the years.
Yes, absolutely,
advising, and then he started working alongside us as a team, and it's been perfect since.
How did you get in contact with the master magician himself, Josh, as I call him?
He'd contacted us, I think, around about the time we released "Regret Is for the Dead." Like, he seen we were working hard and we were looking for good productions, and Josh was starting to get his feet under him with good productions, and bands were going to him. So we were kind of holding back because we wanted to see what he wanted to do, and he's had a few shows. We became good friends with him, and then we recorded a "When We're Forgotten" single up with him.
That's right.
And then the friendships were made. We went up and he did an amazing job, and
he did, yeah.
It's so great. Like, we can go up the road a couple of hours. We can go into a nice studio. His turnaround, his work ethic was great. So,
did you just say a nice studio?
A lovely studio, yeah.
So you got rid of the shithole one before that, then?
I think we were in the early iterations ones as well. Yeah, we made lovely music in them, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, big shout out to him, man. Sending the love.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he helped us out big time, discovering our sounds. What we wanted to do.
He is one of the best in the business for getting a fantastic metal sound, man.
Yeah, he's very on key. So we got in contact with Josh, and then we came back in for the full album. We spent a lot of time going over that album, and that all went great.
It got great reviews as well, man. It was really, it really made people sit up and fucking look at you.
It was great for us because that was us really starting to find our stride, how we wanted to write songs, the kind of direction we wanted to go. "Regret Is for the Dead" was a bit of a mixed mash of, we have songs from different eras and ideas, but with Pyres, it was definitely more, we're writing songs as a band. We have more of an idea of where we want to go, and
a lot of them came across brilliant live as well.
Yeah, so after "Regret Is for the Dead," we'd done our first proper tours. We got around Europe, we got a few festival shows, and we started thinking, like, there's good songs and then there's good live songs, and you kind of want that mix mash of both, because we really do like putting out a good song you could probably have on the radio, or you could have would be good, good for the radio, I suppose. But then we got an itch for playing bigger shows, and we're like, you kind of need to drag out these heavy sections, or give it time to sink in and stuff. So when it got to Pyres, we were just like, we were very conscious about writing good live tunes, because we were getting to that point where we wanted the live shows to match, or the energy we were trying to bring to them. So
absolutely, yeah. And we'll say at that stage, you had maybe one or two videos. How much do you enjoy that whole side of it?
It was it's always weird, because I'm a drummer. I like being backstage, back at the stage behind the drums. That's where I'm doing my thing. When it takes a while to get used to the whole being, doing your photo shoots and your videos and stuff. So, but like everything, it's all part of it. If it makes the music better, if it makes the music get out there to people, you get involved in it more. And we always like trying to work with interesting people that are really good at what they do.
Absolutely, yeah, that's cool, yeah.
So it was same with Johnny, or the same with Josh, and the same with the people we got to do the videos, like
Angle.
And we had a few other people early on helping us with the early videos, and
Andy Pilkington as well, man. He does some great work. Shout out to Andy.
He did geez, when we seen that video come back, I was so blown away, because we just handed it over to him, and he was just like, he's just going to do his own thing. And next thing we get that crazy bloody video back, and we were like, whoa. That was a really cool experience. And like, some of the bands he's worked with is phenomenal. So getting to have him work with you, it was really cool, and such a nice guy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's a fucking dude and a half as well. It always helps.
Yeah. For us, it's like, we always like try be as professional as we can on their behalf, but we're not videographers or, producers or anything like that. So we like to try kind of find the best in the game that we like to work with, and see something, we can come up with something together. So,
yeah, I mean, that's at the back of your mind now with this new album. I mean, Angle has done such great stuff as well. It'd be just interesting to see if you're going to stick with him or bring someone else in. There's in Ireland alone, man, you're just spoiled for choice. It's such a great thing to say about people that work within the video side of things as well.
Yeah, some really, really talented videographers and producers. Yeah, and like Angle, he was over with us at the weekend at Bloodstock, helping us get footage and all that.
Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I sat watching Devin Townsend with him. We had a good time.
Nice
catching up and watching Devin. But we're always going to be working with that guy. He's phenomenal. He's one of those high work ethic, really, really cool guys. So we'll always work with people like that.
Yeah, and of course he did the Sophie Lancaster Foundation video as well, the Billie Eilish cover. Is that bittersweet, kind of being over in Bloodstock with that at the back of your minds as well?
Yeah, because and the dates kind of matched up not too far off as well. It was kind of strange, like when I got there and you see the sign for the stage, and but it's nice, like so many people do stuff for that amazing organization, and such a good cause, and to see that stage jammed every weekend, like you really tell people stay near that stage, and it has a really nice vibe around it that everyone goes down there and gives great support. Like, but it was very nice to go down there and see it. Like, what little we could have contributed to it was so nice to be involved, and there were such nice people to have us involved.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Would you kind of look at doing covers or anything like that further down the line? I know this was a special one, obviously, but. Is it always on the back of your mind to go, well, I'd love to do this with the band? Or
yeah, there's always a few.
You probably do that in rehearsals, man, do you?
Geez, we play some dodgy covers at rehearsal, yeah.
Go on, throw out a few.
We do a very, very bad version of Enter Sandman. That'll never come to the light of day, I hope. But you always kind of want to play homage to your greats. Like we were on the car on the way home from the festival the other day, and it's like I heard Linkin Park come on, and it's like, geez, that's a band I'd fucking love to play one of their songs live. And it's just like, there's a time and a place for it. With the Billie Eilish one, that was, with lockdown, we just wanted to try something that was just happening there and then, and it was a very interesting experience. But we're very hell-bent on this new music we have coming at the moment. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As I said, I was just throwing that in. Just in relation to your own influences, Jace, obviously your Slipknot, but what other stuff? Do you like a bit of rock and roll, as you said yourself?
I like, yeah. You asked us to any of the lads, we all like quite a broad bit of music. Like I came up with very much in the new metal scene, like Korn and Slipknot, and that's where I came from. But then the last few years I've been getting a bit more into broader things. But Devon Townsend would be a big one for me. So like last weekend was great.
Man, there you go.
But you know, like I'd love God as an astronaut. So we watch from far. That'd be a big love of mine.
Cool.
Music.
They're supposed to be coming to Cork.
Yeah, geez, I haven't seen either of them live yet.
No, neither have I.
Yeah, I've loved those bands for years, but I really love that sort of thing. But yeah, we're into everything, like, you know, from classical rock to...
Who's got the worst taste, man? Just be straight up. Who's got the worst taste?
The worst taste? Geez. For me...
Go on, name him and shame him.
I'm going to say Ronan and Jer because I've heard them jamming out Katy Perry and stuff a bit too often, you know?
Oh, man, that's good to hear.
Yeah, they'll kill me for that.
Nah,
but yeah,
stop
listening to Katy Perry.
But I mean, say 5 years down the line, where do you see Birds That Burn?
Yeah, geez. I hope more festivals.
In perfect conditions. I'm not going to fucking ruin it by saying through COVID and all, like, but I mean, you look at, say, Dead Label, who also like had this trajectory and fucking cut dead. So look, if things come right, 5 years down the line, you'll have hopefully a brand new album out that's got really great praise from all corners. Would you like to be touring America? Is that too far
for us
beyond the realms? Or are you more interested in just fucking getting into Europe and staying around there?
So our eyes are very strongly on playing a lot of UK for the next while. Like we played a lot of Europe, but just especially after last weekend, kind of the reaction and the people we're talking to is like the scene in the UK seems amazing at the moment.
Some great bands there, yeah.
Yeah, and even the foundation for the bands there is phenomenal because obviously they have a bigger population, but the community and the support behind it seems great. And we've always wanted to play the UK. It was a big plan for us previous to the lockdowns came in. We had UK shows lined up, and you know, so we really want to get in there, play a lot of shows. America is what everybody wants to hit. So that's always down the pipeline. But for us, I think it'd be UK and the festival circuit, you know.
Yes.
That metal festival circuit of if we can get to Download, you know, that's a big tier for us. Getting to the likes of Download and stuff like Bloodstock was the start of that for us. We want to be hitting those big milestones and, you know, hopefully eventually hit that right band that takes us out on the road with them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. As I said, like America is always the dream. And I mean, like, big kudos to Dead Label for getting over there. I mean,
it is thriving new.
Yeah, it is possible, man. Zealot Cult from Limerick played America as well. So, and Strangle were. So, did you see them actually? They played Bloodstock.
They were playing the evening of the day we played, the Sunday evening, I believe. And no, I didn't get to see them. I was in an interview or something, but I tried to get to see as many as I could, but I heard their show was amazing. And,
they have a new album in the bag as well. What about new Irish acts coming through? Any ones that grab your attention?
I've just been hitting on all the ones I love. Like I'd be a big Dead Label fan. I'm always listening to the Dead Label. Okay. The Crawling's been catching my eye more and more. You know, those guys are so sound and they're doing so well. I find myself constantly listening to them. Baylor's new single has just blown me away.
Awesome.
I've listened to it, I don't know, 50 times since it came out.
They have a release coming through.
And then Grey Stag, yeah. Then something I'm really excited for, you know, the Shirey album. There's some cracking songs on that. I can't wait for people to put through, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Did you contribute to that, Jace?
Yeah, I'm on 2 songs.
Okay, cool. What kind of songs are they?
So I'm drumming on a song. It's kind of like my sugar sort of style. It's pretty out of my ballpark, but it was a lot of fun. It was like doing a bloody maths course all over again, trying to figure out how to play along to it. But that was good. And then I got to write a song with it. Me and Tony and my brother.
Tony Carberry, yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote. I know it's Gojira-esque ambient metal, a little bit of black metal vibe to it.
Nice.
Just something a little bit different to enjoy it. So, but yeah, anything that's coming out, geez, I'm waiting for people to drop stuff, you know. People are so hesitant with if they should drop stuff at the moment or not. And
I think anybody of just any of the bigger bands that we all love anyway have all got their stuff But again, they're just sitting on it and waiting and watching. And
everybody wants to tour the music, which is understandable, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, look, you know, if we get a single or two from a few of those bands in the next month or 2 months, it'll keep us going. It'll keep us certainly talking about the Irish metal scene anyway, you know.
Definitely so, and that's our plan as well. Like we really want to give an album out because, you know, we're sitting on something we love. So, but we're going to keep putting out some singles because there's a few curveballs in it sound wise.
It sounds like it, man, and you know, well done for doing that.
And we just try and push the boat and see what kind of catches people's ears, you know. So we're going to put out a few different ones and see what people like, and then hopefully next year we'll be dropping a brand new album for everybody.
Yeah, excellent stuff, man. Thanks for coming on the show, Jason. A big shout out to Ronnie, Shane, and Jor as well of the band.
Yep. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, pleasure, man. Take care.
You too.